Hello, so in this video we are going to talk about we are going to do a little more in accounting. So right now at this stage we have a few students. If you go into our search, we just added a few students, so you can see in here we have about three students, just three students, and you see two of them in one grade and the other in another. uh, then you can see that we also have if you come to information on academics, you see that for we've started and we've started first term, so we are in an academic year, and we've already started one term that we are calling first term. Okay, so this is the beginning of the term. We already have students. Now we need to know how much we are charging these students, right? Okay, so for that, we come to the accounts menu, then come to set up term fees. Okay, so term, as we explained earlier, it's like it could be a semester, it could be a trimester, whatever works for you. Okay, so now we start, let's say start grade one, and we say for boarding, uh these are the fees that apply. So if I start day, these are the fees that apply, right? So let me go to boarding and say, okay, feeding, which here we usually call canteen, let's say this is going to take about 700 cedis. Housing, let's say they are charging us for 1000. Then tuition, say they are charging us 1500. That's a lot, right? So you put them together, and okay, so this is the fee for grade one boarding, assuming that we have a boarding for grade one. So we are done. So now, okay, so basically we've applied this fee to everyone in grade one whose class is boarding, right? Okay, so let's see, how do we check that? Let's go to reports and say just try to put students who owe. Okay, so let's see grade one what you get. Okay, this person here, all of a sudden they have this huge balance. They had some balance before, so whatever we did there added up to this balance, and now they seem to have a lot to pay, right? Okay, so what it means is what we did was applied to them automatically. So let's see grade two at this point. Okay, so grade two, as of now, there's only this person who is owing, right? Okay, so we only have one person owing. Fine. But there are two people in grade two. So now let's go and set up the fees for grade two and see what happens here. Grade two, let's say boarding. Uh, Again, let's say they'll eat the same amount of food. So let's say the fees are similar for them. Let's say tuition is a bit different. Let's say 1,700 for them. Okay, so you put this together. Here you are getting 2,400, so 3,400. Okay, so now let's do this. Okay, so this goes through. Then now go to our reports again. Let's pick grade two. Okay, so this person's fees. Okay, so this is a only boarding student at grade two. Okay, so what happened is their fee went up by 37. I don't remember the previous one. Okay, so that's grade two. Okay, so now let's do the same thing for grade two, but have day students. Let's set up their fees too. Okay, so we've been saying that they will eat the same. This is a day student feeding, let's say 300 if they just take lunch. Then tuition 1,700. So this is 2,000 together, right? Okay, let's do this. Now let's go again to grade 2 and see the situation there. All of a sudden, this person is here with this fee because this person is a day student, the only day student in that class. So the new fee applies to her. So they are now in the list of people who owe, right? So this is basically how we set up fees. Okay, so you set up fees for the beginning of the term, so now it applies to every student in there, right? Okay, so let's see. Um, so we also have what happens when they pay, they make payment, right? So if any student makes payment, there's this form here. So this is to set up the fees, this for recording payment students make. So let's select this student. Okay, so this student, let's say they are making payment today. You saw their fee was something there around 5,000. So let's pay 3,400 of it. Then let's say part payment. Let's say okay, part payment. It could be any description. So let's say Mr. Ankuma did this payment. It could be Mrs. Ankuma anyway. Yes. Okay. We do this. Okay. So this basically this a little receipt we can print for the parent. Okay. So when you print this goes into our receipt printer and it will appear nice. So for now, let's leave that. Again, if I go to the reports and select this class, you see Ankuma Vincent, the fees is reduced from 5,400 thereabout. It was 5,000 something to 1,800. You get it? Okay, so that's the whole idea. This is done real time, and we can also generate their statement to see what has happened. So let's say student statement, the same student, but let's say let me go a bit back from when to when. Let's say from the beginning of this month up to now. Okay, so we see their statement this way. School information here, their information here. Then you see beginning of the term 0. Then there was some payment they made. Then okay, so this because it's on the same day, it looked like this came before that, but still the balances of you're seeing how their balance got to this, right? Okay, so basically this their balance in negative. Okay, they after paying this 3,400. Okay, so this payment they made some 2,000 at the start when they were being admitted, and that came here. Okay, so basically the point is you can generate their statement and we can logically walk you through this student statement. Okay, so this is something nice to print for the parent. We can talk about the details during training and understand everything in there. Okay, so basically still on the accounting, uh, there's what happens when, let's say, uh, you were trying to record the payment of one student, but you did for the other, right? Which sometimes can happen. Let's say there are two students from the same parent, so the names are similar, it's just the first names that differ. So in that kind of case, you can't debit a student, right? So you can't say, let's say this, oh, let's pick any other student. Okay, let's pick this student and say we could debit to say that, okay, we said you paid this, but you didn't, so we're putting it back. So that's what we're doing with the student debit. So that's one way. We could also say, okay, you were supposed to be charged something, but you were not. We see from your records that you were not charged with this, or the school just introduced something at the middle of the term, and parents need to pay, like trips, excursion trips, and stuff like that. So you could say, okay, this student. Okay, let me go back to. Okay, let's use this student. Let's say we are debiting this student with two. Then we say school trip. Let's just use this. It could be wrongful payment and all of that. So let's say they were going on some trips and everyone was charged this amount, so they can't do this. Uh, Okay, so if you go into the report and go to student statement and pick that student, you should see that showing up on the student's uh, bill. Do you get it? This becomes a new charge that the student has to pay. Do you get it? So that's the whole idea here. So basically, this is accounting. This is mostly all you need to know about accounting. First, set up the fees at the beginning of the term, the trimester, the semester, whichever applies to you. Be able to record uh, school fees when the students pay them. Be able to charge students for trips on things that were not part of the fees, or for wrongful deductions from their balance, so you can use a debit to correct that. Okay, so you have a list here under reports to show students who owe. You have to select the class and you see the students who owe with their balances. Okay, then you also have another list on top which will show you students who don't owe. Like if I choose this class, students who have finished paying, they'll come up, right? Then there is another uh, report here, is a student statement. Okay, so you can pick a student and get their statement for a period. The period you select, like this one. So their current balance is 2000, and this 2000 came from this and that. Okay, so that's mostly the most important thing you need to know about student accounting. But you also see some other thing here about accounting. I think the last thing here is a student bill. Okay, so basically this is to generate after this the bill you generate for students to be given to parents. So let's say the beginning of the term, when we set up the fees, usually it's just in the system, so you need something for the students to give to parents, right? So for each student, they get something like this. So they come, you print it out for them, they give to their parents, and the parents know that, okay, so this is the fee breakdown of the school for this term, and this is why it will come to this amount. And again, as you said, you can generate their statement for them. After generating the bill, you can even generate their statement instead, if you like that one instead, because then it will show what has been added and why their balance is what it is. So you can do both. You can do the bill, and you can also uh, do a statement for them. Okay, so that's basically the accounting. So basically, after the setup, this is what you need mostly to know about accounting. You can also find other accounting information, uh, not here. Okay, so I think they are covered in the accounts and under reports. Okay, so that's it about accounting in the system.